Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Sadhana Panchakam by Swami Dayananda Saraswati, which is a commentary on the Sadhana Panchakam, a set of 5 verses composed by Adi Shankaracharya, which contains instructions for the spiritual seeker or the sadhaka. There are 8 instructions per verse, so total of 40 instructions. We are currently discussing verse 3, so we'll start by chanting verse 3 and reading its complete meaning, and then continue the discussion from where we left off in the last reading. So first let's find the verse number 3, chant that verse, chant its translation, and then come back. Vakyarthascha vicharyatam shrutishirah pakshassamashriyatam dustarkatsu viramyatam shrutimatas tarkonusandhiyatam brahmasmiti vibhavyatam aharahar garvah parityajyatam deheham matirujyatam buddhajanair vadah parityajyatam. May you analyze the meaning of the sentences of Vedanta, staying with the vision it presents. May you completely refrain from long logic. May you remember, follow, and see the logic presented by Shruti. May you daily appreciate through contemplation the fact that I am indeed Brahman. May you not come under the sway of the ego. May you give up the notion that I am the body. May you completely cease from entering into arguments with wise people. Shadangas, the 6 indicators. Resolving this equation to understand the Tatparya, the vision of the Shastra, is a problem. The equation being referenced is Tattvam Asi, that thou art, which we have been discussing. Dvaitins, those who are committed to duality, will torture the sentence and squeeze out some other meaning. They will invoke the Kurma Purana. So Puranas are texts with stories of the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, etc., or some such text as proof. The Kurma Purana also does not say what they claim, but they will come up with something to back up their claim. To be clear about the meaning, however, you must inquire into the meaning of the sentences. This implies the indicators of Tatparya, starting with Upakrama and Upasamhara. So there's a footnote here. Upakramopasamharo abhyasau purvata phalam arthavado papatti cha lingantan parya nirnaye. Introduction and conclusion, repetition, revelation of something previously unknown, result, praise, and reasoning are known as the 6 elements that define the Tatparya of a text. So this implies the indicators of Tatparya starting with Upakrama and Upasamhara. First you have to see the Upakrama. What is at the beginning, and the Upasamhara, what is at the end. The 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad begins with a statement that before creation, the entire world was in the form of Sat. It was and still is non-dually one. So there's a footnote here, it's from the Chandogya Upanishad, mantra 6.2.1. Non-dual means Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda, Rahitam, Advitiyam. Sajatiya Bheda, footnote, Sajatiya Bheda, difference within a class, Vijatiya Bheda, difference between classes, Swagata Bheda, internal differences, Rahitam, without, Advitiyam, non-dual, that which is totally free from all forms of duality. That non-dual Brahman alone was there. Then afterwards the creation was pointed out. At the end of it, the text says, Aitadatmyam idam sarvam. Aitadatmyam idam sarvam. And this is from the Chandogya Upanishad, mantra 6.8.7. All that is here is not separate from this Atma. All this exists in Atma alone because everything has come from Atma, is sustained by Atma, and goes back into Atma. This explanation is preceded by the story of Shvetaketu and his father Uddalaka, in which Uddalaka says, if you know Mrit clay, then you have known all that is made of clay. So this is again from the Chandogya Upanishad, mantra 6.1.4. In the example, clay is the Swarupa. Word and meaning alone account for the differences, but what is there is only clay. Again from the Chandogya Upanishad, and it says refer also to footnote 53. That is the Maha Upakrama, the first Upakrama. Afterwards, when the teaching takes place, the statement that before this creation the entire world was in the form of Sat alone, and it was and still is non-dually one, is the Upakrama, the introduction. Therefore, you should see the introduction and the conclusion in order to find out the meaning of the sentence and I think what he means to say is the Upasamhara, the conclusion. Therefore, you should see the introduction and the conclusion in order to find out the meaning of the sentence and the Tatparya. If they share a commonality, then the subject matter is only Ekam Eva Advitiyam Vastu, one non-dual existence, knowing which everything is going to be known. If the world is different from the Atma, then by knowing Atma, you will neither know the world nor Ishvara. But in such a case, Ishvara is different from the Jagat, so you will not know him at all. So how can one say, Atat Tvamasi, you are not that, or Tasva Tvamasi, you belong to that, you are a fraction of that? There is no fraction here, there is only the whole. Once we have examined Upakrama and Upasamhara, that is the introduction and the conclusion, we look at the aspect of Apurvata, something that is not previously known. What is taught in the Shastra is something that is not already known to you by other pramanas, other means of knowledge. If Shabda, words for the Shastra, are pramana, then what is taught by the Shastra should not be available for your experience, sense perception, or witness perception. It will not only be available for different types of inference such as Anumana, Arthapati, Anupalabdhi, or Upamana. There are the four inferences. The one-step inference, that is Anumana, Arthapati, two-step inference, Anupalabdhi, cognition of absence, or Upamana, illustration. Only then does it become the subject matter of the Veda. So we have to see whether or not the subject matter is already known to you. If the Shastra repeats something that is known to you, then it is only Anuvada, a restatement. It has no Apurvata. Here, however, Apurvata is there since the fact that Atma is Brahman as the cause of the Jagat is not known to you. This knowledge is not available for another pramana. Anadhigata Vishaya. Anadhigata Vishaya. And no experience is going to give you the knowledge. I am Brahman, Aham Idam Sarvam, I am the whole. It is something that has to be revealed by the Shastra. The third element is Upapatti, which means logic, reasoning. This is necessary because what is unfolded by the Shruti has to be supported by logic. It is not available for corroboration, however. What we are doing is pointing out the fallacies in the reasoning behind any other contention presented either by the intellect or by any other intellect, either by my intellect or by any other intellect in the world. If what is said by the Shruti is true, then any other contention is going to be wrong. When determining the vision, we also use Upapatti to see what is said before and what is said later, thus clearly discern how the other person's interpretation falls short. For example, when you look at Tattvamasi from a purely linguistic perspective, the phrase Tvamasi you are creates an akanksha, expectation. As we saw previously, I have to tell you something that you did not already know. I need not say Atatvamasi because you already know you are not that. So this is Upapatti. We use reasoning to eliminate all other schools of thought, schools propounded by Acharyas who accept the Veda as a pramana. Then there are others, such as the Buddhists and so on, who do not accept the Veda as a pramana. We have to deal with them also. In fact, it is easy to deal with them because all you have to do is meet them on their own ground. Their arguments are based solely on reason, and therefore we have to point out the fallacies in their reasoning. That is not difficult at all, even if they present an argument by quoting from Smriti texts. Footnote here, Smriti, literally that which is remembered, a class of Shastra literature derived from Veda and including Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. So even if they present an argument by quoting from Smriti text, if it contradicts Shruti, then we should go by Shruti alone. Only Shruti is pramana. Smriti is not pramana. If Smriti conforms to the Shruti, then Smriti is acceptable, like the Bhagavad Gita, for example. But if you find Smriti contradicting Shruti, we should only go by Shruti. As long as Smriti dovetails Shruti, it is okay. Thus, fallacious arguments must be understood as fallacious. Thereby you must understand what Shruti has to say. Here we use linguistics, logic, semantics and so on in order to ascertain the meaning. First, Upakrama, Upasamharo, then Apurvata and Upapatti. Another helpful aspect is Arthavada, praise, such as Atmavit Shokam Tarti. The one who knows Atma crosses sorrow. The phala result is there and praise is also there. There the one who has gained this knowledge is said to be a Jivan Mukta, one who does not come back much later. That is the phala. And it is praise to say he crosses sorrow. Then there is Abhyasa, repetition. Even if there is only one stray statement somewhere in the whole Veda that says Ayam Atma Brahma. So this is from the Mandukya Upanishad, Mantra 1.2 of Atharva Veda. So even if there is only one stray statement somewhere in the whole Veda that says Ayam Atma Brahma, this Atma is Brahma, that would be enough. But the question is whether it is the Tatparya. When there is a Tatparya, there will be repetition because you generally repeat what is important. For example, if you are giving someone directions from one place to another, you repeat only the directions where there may be some confusion, some deviation. Wherever there is repetition, that is where the emphasis is. In Chandogya Upanishad, for example, Tattvamasi is repeated 9 times for Kshetraketu from different standpoints. The Shastra says that before the creation, there was only Sadatma, and only after the creation came the elements, which then underwent Panchikarana, grossification. From these came the physical world, including your physical body as well as your mind and senses, made of subtle elements. All of them have come from Brahman alone. That Brahman is Sachidananda Atma. What is created is only your physical body and the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. The gross and subtle universe all come from Brahman. Therefore, you are that Brahman, that is Atma, you. The Shastra also teaches this in another way, saying that anything created is not separate from its cause. The created is Nama Rupa, word and meaning, it is Mithya. The Karanam cause is Satya. The Karanam is Atma, which is Brahman and therefore Tattvamasi. It is very clear. You cannot find any other meaning unless you have some prejudice already. Even though it is so clear, some acharyas still miss this. But at least all of them look upon Veda as a pramana, which is a great thing. There is no contention there at all. They are all Vaidikas, followers of the Veda. Because they say Veda as a pramana, we can argue with them and make them look at the whole thing using Upakrama, Upasamhara, Apurvata, Upapatti, Arthavada, Abhyasa and Phala. The Phala is Moksha. The teaching of Shvetaketu is in the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad and the same teaching is in the 7th chapter. In that chapter, Narada comes to Sanat Kumara and says, I am in sorrow. Please get me across this ocean of sorrow. So this is the Chandogya Upanishad mantra 7.1.3. Soham bhagavo shochami tamma bhagava shokasya paran tarayatu. So Sanat Kumara has to teach him. Before teaching, he wants to know how much Narada knows. So he asks him, what do you know? Narada says, I know the Rig Veda, the Sama Veda, the Yajur Veda. He rattles off a big list. Then Sanat Kumara says, so what? You know everything except one thing. It is like the person who performed the marriage ceremony for 4 days, forgetting one small thing, namely to tie the knot. Similarly, Narada knows everything, all the apara vidya, except for the one knowledge by which one knows Brahman. And therefore he has to ask, please help me to cross the ocean of sorrow. Then Sanat Kumara teaches him that knowledge called Brahma Vidya or Bhuma Vidya. He says that which is not Alpam limited is Bhuma. Sanat Kumara tells him that Bhuma means Brahman. Next section, meaning of Shravanam. All of this is Vakyartha Vichara, otherwise called Shravanam, determining exactly what the meaning of the sentence is. There is only one sentence, Tattvamasi, the Mahavakya is the sentence. All other sentences are Avantara Vakyas, secondary sentences meant only to unfold the truth revealed by the Mahavakya. Therefore, Vakyarthascha Vicharyatam, inquiry with the help of the Shruti, is called Shravanam. Shravanam is a very beautiful word. It has two meanings. One meaning is to listen. The other meaning of the root Shru is Vichara, inquiry. So Vicharyatam, may you inquire. Inquiry is done through listening. That means somebody has to talk, or at least you require an audio device. A teacher is necessary. Listening means you require a teacher. The subject matter of your inquiry, however, is only the Shruti. The words of the Shruti are the Pramana, the means of knowledge. The teacher is not the Pramana, but the Shruti Pramana has to only come through a teacher. The words have to be handled properly, otherwise they do not make any sense. If the teacher is a Shrotriya, he can handle the Shruti Pramana. Thus, Shruyatam means Shravanam Kriyatam. May you listen to the Shastra, and Vicharyatam, do Vichara, inquire with the help of the teacher. In order to gain moksha, Atma has to be seen by you as the Vastu, meaning it has to be recognized by you as it is. Because the means of knowledge for this is Vedanta, one must therefore do Vedanta Shravanam. In the sentence, Atma va re drishtavyah shrotavyah. So this is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, mantra 2.4.5. May one, so Atma va are drishtavyah shrotavyah. May one know Atma, listen to the knowledge of the Atma, etc. The suffix tavya has an imperative sense. There is a footnote here. Tavyat tavya niyarah. Tavyat tavya niyarah. Panini Sutra 3.196. It is used in the sense of should be done. It is not a command, rather its intent is to turn your mind away from what is Atma. This is necessary because people seem to have a preeti, love, for Anatma. That love is not really for Anatma, however, rather only for Atma. This is in the context in the Shastra, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where it is said that even your love for an object other than yourself is a love for yourself alone, for the pleased self. So, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. The nature of the self is Ananda, and that is what you want. Therefore, all the love should be turned towards Atma and away from Anatma. This sentence, Atma va are drishtavyah, is said only in order to turn your attention towards Atma, to create in you the jignasa, the desire for the knowledge of Atman alone. It is not a vidhi, command. This is a big argument in the Shastra. The reasoning that we saw previously is all meant only to understand the Vakya and thus the Tatparya vision. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.